So today we're trying out S.A.U.D.A mode. Yep, S.A.U.D.A, like the hero. This is actually a game mode which I saw S.A.U.D.A do for the first time ever, and I thought it was a really cool one, and I had to try it out. So unlike the other self-imposed, I guess, self-created game modes, this one is a little bit different. So first off, let me tell you guys what the rules are of this thing. So S.A.U.D.A in this case is an acronym which stands for, well, the S is no selling, the A is no abilities, the U is no utility, which is basically support towers in general. The D stands for double HP mobs, and then the A is alternate Bloons rounds as the underlying game mode. Now, I like this a lot the first time that I saw it, because usually whenever we create these, self-imposed game modes, they are glorified chimps versions, basically. So, it's gonna be like chimps but double HP mobs, or, it's chimps but you go up to like a super high round or something like that, or you restrict some towers. But no, this one is actually kind of unique in a way. There are a lot of towers banned, by the way, as you guys might have realized by this point, because there are no abilities. That means that every single, let me just show you guys, every single myth pad, and sometimes even more than that, has been banned in combination with, some other towers. Like, for example, the sniper, the top hat has been banned, because if you combine this with, well, basically this thing by itself, but even if you combine it with the shrapnel, it does stuns mobs, right? So you don't want to have any sort of support, and that's what makes it, kind of interesting and kind of annoying, I think. So in S.A.U.D.A's video, he used this thing, the Orca, basically, which is an insane tower, obviously. And for this one, we're obviously going to do a different strategy. And so round 10 on ABR has lead balloons. So how do you deal with those leads? Because S.A.U.D.A's level 3 can, but remember, there are no abilities allowed. There's going to be a camel lead on 24, so I think we're just going to do something like this, like a sniper. So it's go like this, set it on strong, and then we're going to have the night vision goggles, and that's going to deal with all the leads up until the 30s, I'm pretty sure. I think the most interesting aspect of this entire game mode is how you figure out which tower is utility, because, if you take a look at the mortar, let's say, for example, whenever it attacks this top hat mortar, it does a mini stun. And so the stun is, well, obviously would count as a utility thingy, but then again, the main feature of that top hat mortar is not to stun things, but the stun is kind of secondary, right? So I think that's the reason why he has left this thing in, like the big one and the biggest one. And I guess you don't exactly want to be too hard with these rules, because at the end of the day, everything does, a little bit of something, of some sort of a support. Oh, by the way, let's buy this thing now. Let's get this thing going. The night vision goggles, which is going to deal with the, I think they're camel leads on 30 actually on ABR as well. Yeah, let's see if we're going to deal with these guys. So I've been thinking about how we want to, solve this thing, because this is definitely going to be super fun to figure out. So I was thinking between two main things. Number one, I wanted to do the Prince of Darkness in combination with the Mad, because we're still playing on double HP mobs. And if you guys know, ABR on round 100 has a fortified bad. So that means that's going to be a double HP mob fortified bad, which means we need a lot of mob class damage. Now the second thing is this guy, the Master Bomber Ninja, which does have a mini stun with the flash bomb, but I think it's gonna be fine. But this thing does a lot of damage to mob class balloons, and just my question is, what are we gonna combine that guy with? By the way, as you guys can see, Monkey Knowledge is enabled in this one, because this is, after all, not a glorified chimps game mode, and I love that, but we're starting to leak a little bit. So you know what, I'm actually, maybe we do some combination of all the things that we mentioned. So let's go like this. I want to get the sticky likely for round 40, because we're gonna have a fortified mob, but that's gonna be a double HP fortified mob. Let's get the flash bomb, let's get the sticky bomb now for this guy, and see if, I think the damage is gonna be enough, but are we gonna deal with the insights is the question. I wouldn't actually mind buying something like a top hat glue, honestly. Let's see if the damage is gonna, I think it is, because they recently, yeah, there we go, they recently buffed the sharp shurikens when you have the flash bomb upgrade. And actually it's not even the flash bomb, it's the entire bottom pad. They do a lot of extra damage, and I think that helped a lot there. Yeah, however, ABR has mob class balloons in the 40s, so let's not rely on the mini stun and the other stuff. So let's do something like this. You know what, I wouldn't mind buying the, oh wait a minute, there's no glue. What? Oh my god, that's so interesting, because yes, it does a lot of DPS, the solver, but it slows down balloons, so you're not allowed to use it because it's utility. Oh yeah, I'm telling you guys, this is a very fun game mode. So I think we're going for bottom path the wizard. I guess we're going back to the mad thingy that we talked about. I think we are. Let's watch 49. The Master Bomber is 43k. So how is it looking? Are we defending these regrowths? I think if they were just normal ceramics, it would be fine, but the fact that they're regrowth hero might cause some issues. I'm seeing some leak on the side, but we can tank those. And yeah, it seems like we're defending them. Alright, so we're gonna have some fortified mobs incoming on this one. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get the wizard like this. This is going to be a let's start with the necromancer with the unpopped army. And I guess the idea is going to be Prince of Darkness into Master Bomber. And if ideally, I mean, if we can save the cash, Prince of Darkness into Mad, which is gonna guarantee around 100. Let's see if this guy's gonna need a little bit of a helping hand, because that was a BFB, but round 60 has a fortified BFB. So let's see if we're dealing with the insides first. We are, but I don't like it. It seems like it's getting close. So let's try and save cash for the Prince of Darkness, I guess. I mean, it's kind of close. 245 mobs on this one. We're gonna have the money right now, so let me just buy it. Oh yeah, that's amazing. Let's see how we do versus the fortified BFB now. I feel like the Prince of Darkness is gonna do a decent amount of damage, but the graveyard gets spent, and I think, yeah, this is gonna be one of the problems as well. The graveyard is gonna start getting spent before it can even do a little bit of damage versus the mob class Bloons. So we might not survive this guy actually. Do we have the grave? I think we do. Yeah, we have 1k in the graveyard, so this should be fine versus the fortified BFB. Yeah, but we gotta be super careful when these high rounds are coming in. So let's see how we do versus 62. This is basically everything from the normal 62, but just upgraded when I'm talking about the mob class Bloons. So it's not normal mobs, it's fortified, and then it's 2 BFBs instead of 2 fortified mobs. So it's gonna be interesting to see if we can deal with this one. I think we can, just because of the fact that these guys are not fortified, honestly. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Prince of Darkness is a great mid-game tower. I don't think this guy holds, especially versus DDTs. I mean, in a normal game mode, it does, I'm pretty sure, but this is double HP mobs, and actually ABR has a lot more fortified DDTs and a lot earlier than usual. So the 80s and the 90s are going to be super fun. That's all I have to say. I've been looking at these upgrades and these towers that we have, and I've been trying to see if there's like anything that we could use in regards to this utility aspect, maybe as like a secondary thing that the tower does. And you know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at this thing actually, the knockback super monkey. I mean, the knockback is kind of a utility thingy, but that's not what you usually use it for. So I was thinking, what if we do something like a 0-2-1 super monkey? That guy's gonna have some pierce, and it's going to be very slightly pushing all of these mob class, or at least slowing all these mob class Bloons down. Oh, let's see how we do with 75 actually. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm thinking about, but also, I mean, are we surviving this one? Because I'm seeing these resummoned BFBs from the Necromancer. They're all at the top. Is this fine? Is this gonna work out? Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, he knows what he's doing, right? Yeah, there goes 75. All right. You know, another thing I was looking at getting was this guy, actually, the Unstable Concoction Alchemist. So S.A.U.D.A does extra damage if a Bloon is taking damage over time from another tower, right? So I feel like the Alchemist would qualify for that, right, since we don't have the glue available to us. But at the same time, the Unstable Concoction is super good. It's like free damage that you get. It's risky damage that you get, but I think with the Prince of Darkness, that's a great combo. Alright, so this might be a tricky round. We have the money for the Master Bomber, but if we buy it, we're only gonna have about 10k. It's not even 10k, we're gonna have like $8,000 to work with. And I'm just kind of looking at the grave. It's not looking good, guys. It's 2 ZMGs. I think we have to buy it on this round, actually. Yeah, let me just get it. Yeah, that was obviously gonna demolish the ZMGs, but we need to get some cash going in order to be able to react to whatever's happening. And usually you would react with, you know, something like I don't know, like a support tower, like an ice or whatever, but nope, you cannot use any of that because it's bad. So let's see how we're doing now. So S.A.U.D.A is obviously gonna have her prey effects getting triggered. I would like to get the Alchemist now, actually, so let's do that. And actually maybe even get more than one Alchemist. Yeah, let's go like this. I'm gonna get one on the side as well, just so we make sure we're getting all these mob class Bloons, because there's a lot of mob class Bloons in ABR. And let's see how this is working out so far. So we should see a lot of a lot of explosions throughout the entirety of the map, because we're attacking the Bloons from both sides. This is an interesting map. It's, you know, it's kind of a shorter map. Everything's converging in the middle for sure, but you know, it's not the longest map, so this might get tricky in a second. I mean, now that we've bought our core setup with the Prince of Darkness and the Master Bomber, just like we said at the start, I think the next thing that we're doing is we're just saving cash in case we need to intervene. But I have another problem. I don't exactly know where we're going after this, because I feel like this is still not gonna be enough. I was maybe looking at the Blazing Sun, the Desperado, which is gonna do a lot of single target damage, especially to like these beefier Bloons, so maybe we want to get that thing. And I've been saving this middle placement spot. Oh, there go the first DDTs. Okay, so let's see how we do versus them. It's around 88. It's fine. I think it's fine, yeah. I mean, we could have popped them faster for sure, but we have 40k, and I was saving this middle spot for the 0-2-1 Super Monkey. But actually, now that I'm looking at these DDTs, if we go for a 203, we're still gonna get the knockback, but we're gonna get some damage versus them as well. And I'm just thinking if we want to do that. Something interesting that I noticed, by the way, with these alchemists is that the guy on the left has 80k pops and the guy on the right is only at 11. So what this tells us is that one is usually enough. But yeah, we got two anyways. It's fine. All right, so more DTs this time around. Let's see how we do versus them. It's gonna be 4 instead of 3 the previous time. Okay, that was so much better than last time though. Yeah, it's because there were no side balloons incoming, but that is about to change, especially because we're gonna start seeing some fortified DTs as well. Yeah, you guys know what I wouldn't mind getting? The Dark Champion. Actually, now that I think about this, the problem is that that thing is easily over $70,000. I think if we buy the Dark Champion, we are going to have a lot of benefits, you know, in just clearing out the small balloons, a lot of extra Moab damage. We're going to get the knockback effect, which I really like, and I just don't want to make the commitment yet. So it's 93, our first 45 DDTs. Let's see how we deal versus these guys. It's fine. I think we have him, actually, even though it might look like it's close. Yeah, there we go. Now, let's just save money, and then we're obviously going to have to buy something. It's just the question is what it's going to be, and if we're going to have the money for the Dark Champion, because I've kind of made my choice in a way, but this is 94. 94 is a mess. Oh my god. Keep in mind, everything that you see on screen is double HP Moabs, and I feel like this Master Bomber, I mean, he's doing the thing, it's just that is it going to be enough, and it's such a mess in the middle. I can't actually see what's happening. I can see that these ZMG layers are getting damaged. I know that we popped like half the round. I'm going to speed things up a little bit. Hopefully the small balloons are getting dealt with by there's a Prince of Darkness in combination with S.A.U.D.A. She is not doing that many punches. She's level 18 though. She's doing well actually for the map that we're playing on, I guess. Oh, and there we go. We have our first leaks on 94. So let's say we place this guy and we buy up to the Dark Knight. We have 41,000. We're missing 60k, and that is even if we don't buy any of the top or the middle path upgrades. Are we taking the shot is my question. I think we are. Let's see if this knockback effect is going to help us a tiny bit, because we didn't exactly leak too many things. It was just a handful of ceramics. So everyone's going in. This is where the mess happens essentially. I think the graveyard is obviously, yeah, it's going to be full. It's just if the Pierce and all of our towers can hold on, maybe with the mini stun, maybe S.A.U.D.A. is helping. You know, I would really... Oh, we're leaking again, it seems like. So the Dark Knight is not holding, huh? You know, it's interesting because what do you buy? Like, actually, what do you buy? I mean, I guess the Ultra Juggernaut isn't sounding too bad on a map like this one. I was looking at this guy. I was looking at the Big Trap NG actually. So how about we do that? Yeah, let's buy the Big Trap. I'm fine with this choice as well. This thing is gonna eliminate all these small class balloons like crazy. Yeah, let's go for the top path. Actually, we want to get the faster engineering. The trap is obviously gonna get deployed in the middle, so we don't have to get the middle one. And this is very, very easily gonna solve pretty much all of our problems, with the exception of I'm scared about DDTs, and I'm also scared about the 45 bad around 100. So let's see how we're doing versus DDTs first. As long as they're not 45, I feel like the Prince of Darkness plus, you know, the Ninja and I guess a little bit of S.A.U.D.A. we should be fine versus around like 95 is what I'm saying. There we go. That wasn't even close actually. Okay, so 96, a lot more DDTs incoming, but we just eat them up with the trap. The Prince of Darkness reveals them, the trap gets them inside, and I think we can just fast forward, because anything that's essentially not getting you know, sucked into the trap is likely gonna get dealt with by all of our towers. This is still I think it is. I think that the big trap, you know, solves pretty much all of our problems, except, well, I guess it solves the DD problem as well. I guess it just doesn't solve the 45 bad problem around 100, right? Alright, so 98 incoming. This is gonna be a mess of a round, so hopefully the trap holds. I know the redeployment is super fast, but that's gonna be a lot of balloons, so hopefully we suck in ZMGs with the trap. That's kind of the main thing we're going for. Yeah, let's see how everything is looking. So the trap can get overwhelmed by like these small balloons as well, so I'm hoping that the Prince of Darkness and S.A.U.D.A. and the Ninja just stun and destroy all the small balloons, and then the big ones like the ZMGs get sucked into the trap, so we don't have to actually pop them and deal with them. And it's looking like this is a piece of cake of an... Oh my god, that was so easy. Yeah, I am noticing something though, and I'm sure some of you guys are noticing it as well. So let's finish 99, and then I'm gonna say what it is. It's this thing. It's the $37,000 that the trap has made so far, and I guess the question is, do we want to use them? Because the underlying game mode is not chimps that we're playing on. That's kind of one of the things that I really like about this game mode. It's ABR, and you can farm in ABR, right? Technically, using that cash wouldn't be against the rules, but do we still want to do that? Let's see how we do versus this thing. Yeah, we popped it. Okay, so it's only around 100, guys. Oh my god. So we made 40k, we have 90. So if we're not using this cash, we have about 50k to spare. So first things first, let's see how much damage we can actually do to this guy, and then if we don't beat it, then we're gonna figure something out. It's only gonna be the Master Bomber, by the way, because all these other towers are tickling it, and then even if it pops, we need to basically stun all of the insides in order to keep them in the spot and just do damage to them. No, this is, I mean, we do get the pop, but it's a super late one. Blazing Sun, 520. Is he gonna be the savior? I mean, we cannot buy the millipede spikes, but we can get the shredders, which are gonna do a decent amount of damage as well. So let me buy a couple of shares as well. Alright, so let's have one like that, and then we have to stop spending money right now, actually, because we have 52. The trap is made 40, and we started with 90. So yeah, let's see if this is going to be enough now. I don't think the shredders are gonna do too much damage, but we're hunting for every single bit of damage that we can get. Let's watch the blazing sun. This thing is obviously insane. So about 4k both of these shredders, plus the desperado now should pick it up, although I don't know, guys. I mean, it is picking it up for sure. That's a decent amount of damage by this 520 Desperado. Is the pop gonna be a little bit earlier? That's the only thing though. Oh, there we go. We do get the pop. Oh, some DDs in the back. No way. Alright, so the Desperado plus spiked mines at the back. Is this gonna hold the DDTs? Hopefully. The money's, by the way, about there. So I think this is still within the limits, even though, again, it's not technically against the rules. It's just that we don't want to do it. So let's see when we get the pop on this bad balloon. The pops on this Desperado are crazy good. 20k, that is insane. But we need the pop right now. Okay, so the DDTs are going in, and I think, yes, the mines stopped them. There we go. We actually did get it done. Oh my god, I didn't even notice when these guys hit the middle pop because I was focused on the DDTs, but there we go. We defeated S.A.U.D.A mode. And that was a very fun game mode, which forced us to use different towers. This is a very interesting combo that I normally wouldn't use, but we do get it done, and that was super fun. And that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one.